Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan wrote an incredible book, Meaning of God in Modern Jewish Religion. His take on God was that it was the power of salvation that is greater than any one individual's conception of God, that Jews as a civilization had some incredible understanding about God, including all the questions that any one individual had, so that we could connect with the power that makes for salvation in the world as a theological kind of enterprise. Meanwhile, whatever you think about God, and those can be open questions or they can be convincing notions, the Sukkah is a perfect place to conceive of what the world needs in terms of salvation. Rabbi Kaplan described the Hoshana prayers as being necessary folkways of the Jewish people. You might think that pageants and circles around the synagogue with 4 species of plants in our hands seems like an ancient custom. Maybe for some, it smacks of a little paganism. Maybe for others, it is a temple practice that we actually fulfill here in this world, in our sanctuaries. And if one doesn't imagine a world of returning to the temple itself in Jerusalem, then why would one pick up 4 species and march around in rehearsals for those rituals that we might bring back in the Jerusalem precincts? But, says Rabbi Kaplan in his exploration, Sukkot is a time to truly wonder what salvation, beyond any one individual's capacity, is needed for our world at this moment. And for him, that was the definition of God. No individual on a throne conception of some anthropomorphic God, a picture that physically manifests in order to explain what God is. The power of salvation, the salvific inclination of the Jewish people coming into focus during Sukkot. He talked about this like he spoke about Shabbat, the Sabbath, being a time in the weekly cycle of our lives where we give up all connection to commerce in order not only to achieve a certain amount of rest and relaxation, a retreat from the marketplace that creates competition, but visions of what economic justice might look like for our community, for our city, for our nation, our world. Sukkot, Kaplan posited, is the disruption of our typical and normal domesticated experience. And it sharpens our ability to imagine alternative ways of living and alternative ways of provision of housing and shelter for those most in need. Sukkot is a time where, given the realities we face in our world, we must bring to bear the creative forces among Am Yisrael and all nations of the world, bringing together both the universal spirit of Sukkot. We offer many, many offerings in the historical record on behalf of 70 nations of the world, representing all of the peoples among whom we might live one day and find partners for peace and to make solutions, to create solutions to problems we face as humanity. And we must bring our strength, our faith in the ongoing story of the Jewish people that began in many ways when we were taken out of Egypt, Hoshavti, and I caused you to dwell in Sukkot. This ongoing reflection through the holiday cycles, and not just the simple joys of picking up the lulav or etrog or sitting in the wonderful Sukkot that we build, even during this pandemical time, cause us to take the right kind of religious retreats and look out at the world and think through how we will play a part in the great redemption. Chag Sameach, and may we soon see a world redeemed.